Starting as a beginner, it's super overwhelming, and even when you're working in the industry for maybe a year or two, it's very difficult to pinpoint in which role is defined to which kind of designer. So in today's topic, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing about what is UX, UI, and product design, and different disciplines, but they are interlinked with each other and they come together to solve a problem for the user. So if you want to know more about it, please stick around. I'm a product designer. This is my channel called The Product Folio. I also have an Instagram page which is called as Troops Folio, where I share my insights, journeys, skills, expertise, all for you. So UX is user experience design, UI is user interface design, and product design is basically a little bit of more of person who can do both UX as well as UI. Now let us look at things that are like a key role or key areas of UX and UI, and let us deep dive more into it. Now these are the 8 areas where the first one is user research, there is usability analysis, there is information architecture, there is visual design, interaction design, prototyping, testing, and later on there's even a component of writing, but you need special expertise or you need to understand more about writing. So last but not the least is, after everything, you gather the feedback, you take user interviews, you use usability testing. That is another aspect of it. Now, what does a UX designer do? Now, the UX designer takes care of user research, usability analysis, information architecture, a little bit of writing and content if they know, and then hands it over to the UI designer. The UI designer focuses on visual design, interaction design, prototyping. The testing can be a collaborative work of both UX as well as UI, because they want to know if the product is working right. They can also take a feedback from the user if things are not working, which button is working and not working, which flow is working. So both of them work together in the testing phase to analyze which if the product is working. A product designer can go from one end to the other end of these key areas, because they are one form or a one structure from one end to the other. So the product design can take care a little bit of all of it, and majorly a product designer is a generalist but is focused into a certain area. Like for example, the product designer is working in the logistic area or maybe the food industry, so he or she has worked into one industry for really long and can have experience about how the product is developed for that particular. So the first thing, UX design. UX design is user experience design. And what does a UX designer need to do? Let us assume an example. So the client comes in and gives you a problem, saying that, okay, I want to be able to give these healthy lunch boxes to office goers or people who want to have healthy lunches. So what does a UX designer do is basically they look into the market and understand if there are healthy lunch boxes already in the market, and what are the interesting lunch boxes versus what are the not so interesting lunch boxes, and how can you place your lunch box. The second part is finding the user for these lunch boxes. Now, if you have a lunchbox but you don't have a user who's going to eat that lunchbox, so it doesn't make sense, does it? So not only you have to understand your market, you have to understand your user. And the next part is the user experience designer also needs to create this complete experience where he we'll try to evaluate how the user will buy this product. So something called as user flow, where it's basically a visualization and a flow chart of how the user will come in contact with the product and how will he buy the product. After that, when the basic structure and the foundation is laid out, then it goes to a UI designer. So UX designer does basically market research, user research, analyzes the different products that are already in that market, and then does information architecture, user flows, prototyping like paper prototyping and sketching, and then hands it off to the UI designer. Now, what does the UI designer do? Basically, UI designer will focus more on the visual aspects of the brand, like how the website or the product should look like, where the user has come in to buy the product. How will they declutter the interface so that the user will buy the product definitely, and what are the clues and tips they should leave in so that it improves their experience and they definitely end up buying the product and also recommending it to some friend. UI designers have to use the fundamentals of design principles such as color, contrast, grid, layout, a lot of things, and they have to think about which colors would suit the user, and how will they stay on the product for a really long time. Basically, visualizing the entire experience. The visual designer or the UI designer also needs to think about how the pop-up will come in, and the different interactions the website or the app has. Suppose you are buying a product, and once you bought the product, what kind of an animation should happen, and kind of a way that they could delight the user and create some memorable experience in their head. So to summarize, UX is like a functional aspect versus UI is creating a memorable experience. So both of them create a great product. Now the third and the major aspect of this is a product designer. Now, product designer is basically a combination of UX and UI, and we are going to talk about 3 different levels of product design. First is system design, second is process design, and third is interface design. What is system design? Now, product designers need to sit with the business people and the stakeholders and understand what is the vision of this product and where this product is going and how we're going to build this entire ecosystem for the product. Like, for example, if you want to place this healthy product into store, how will the system be and how the experience will be offline and online, both of them, and weave it together as a business system or an entire system design. So you're developing more, you're encapsulating the entire vision into a strategy basically. The second is the process. The process is nothing but UX design, where you do user research, market analysis, you do user flows, you do information architecture. If you really enjoy writing, then definitely writing. Later on, you do wireframes, you do prototyping on the wireframes to get the first testing done, and then hand it off to the next part, that is your interface design. Now, interface design is exactly UI design, and it's the same thing. You have your design principles, you come up with good interactions. Now, interaction design is purely developing some design solutions that pushes the user towards the goal. Interaction shouldn't distract the user from reaching the goal, but it should facilitate or guide it. It should nudge the user to reach the goal, and that should be an added bonus. Even if you don't put it, the visual design should serve the purpose of the goal. And guys, I'll be sharing a video every Thursday and Friday, and also I go live on Instagram, so I'll be sharing a live session on Saturday. So if you like my video, please subscribe And one more thing, this channel is dedicated to product design. I'll be starting a series tomorrow on how can you create a product, a digital product, which can be an app, which can be any interface. But I'm going to be starting a case study tomorrow where I'm going to be focusing on one problem and delivering a solution for it in form of a product. And if you want to start your startup or create that portfolio you really wanted, especially focusing on UX strategy, then please you need to subscribe and turn your notification on, because this series is going to be for you.